All right, I want to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom. All right, man, we back with another lesson. All right, and on this one is an M.O.T.B update. All right, and I'm going to get into these articles. Okay, showing you that we're getting closer into those times. All right, and this is that major prophecy that we are waiting for. Salakia, let me just turn this off. You know, this is the major prophecy. You know, one of the major prophecies, but this is the stepping stone to bring in the other events that we're waiting for. You know, to that we're waiting for that civil war. We're waiting for that World War III, which is also going to herald in the return of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So, but what's holding that back is this prophecy right here, because we know that this must come first. Okay, this must be fulfilled before all hell breaks loose. All right, so we're gonna get into it real quick with these two articles that I found. All right, showing you that the Lord is working. Okay, these things are coming to pass, and they're coming fast. Right. So on this article it says 8 places that no longer accept cash in 2025. All right, and we know that the M.O.T.B is going to be a cashless society, right? It's going to be with digital currency. All right, and it says not long ago, cash was considered the universal form of payment. Fast forward to 2025, and a growing number of businesses and venues across the U.S. have completely phased it out. Whether driven by speed, security, or sheer convenience, many retailers now require credit, debit, or digital wallet payments, you see? And we know that Esau works things gradually, okay? That's what a snake do. He's subtle, all right? You know, he's in the high grass, all right, till he gets next to, his target, all right? And he bites them without them being aware, okay? And it says, while some applaud the cashless trend for cutting down on theft and streamlining transactions, Salakia, others argue it excludes those without access to banking. If you still like paying with bills and coins, you might want to avoid these 8 places that no longer accept cash, right? So, we'll go through the list real quick, okay? It says sports, stadiums, and arenas. Okay, so that's one, all right? Entertainment, okay, which we don't really care about that, What we care is that these things are coming to pass, all right? And gradually, everybody's going to be forced to pay, with credit card and just digital wallets. And then they're going to force that RFID chip, Second, okay, is airlines and in-flight services, all right? So that's 2. All right, the third one is fast casual and chain restaurants, all right? What else we got? We got ride, share, and food delivery services, okay, like DoorDash, Lyft, Uber, all right? What else we got? Music festivals and large public events. And you see, this is what they do. They start with these small things, the entertainment and things that are convenient for you, okay? But soon it's going to be your rent, your bills, okay? Everything else, all right? It's going to be the beast system, all right? And it says college campuses and student services. There you go, all right? That's gonna have a lot of people grabbing that M.O.T.B, all right? Because they see that, they need college as a future, right? It says toll roads and parking garages, all right? Which we saw that a few years back when they started tearing down those parking meters, all right? And putting up those barcodes for you to scan and pay, with your credit card. And it says some retail stores and boutiques, you see? So slowly but surely, all right, this thing is expanding, all right? And soon, as we all know, okay, this place is going to go cashless completely, all right? And it's going to go digital, all right? Just like that movie, I believe it was called Timeless. All right, where they had Justin Timberlake working, and they would pay him with a barcode on his wrist, and his money would be put in there. Well, hey, that's called predictive programming. All right, and this is how Esau works. Okay, he'll put it in science fiction, what they would call science fiction. All right, and have you programmed. Why? Because that's a TV program. It's a movie. Okay, so it's programming you to accept it, right, into reality. All right, and this is what they do. This is what they've been doing the whole time. All right, shit. You look at the Momo trend. That didn't just come out of nowhere. All right, that started off with the music. Okay, they started putting in a little here, little there movies. Okay, you accept it now. Okay, and now if you don't accept it, you're a weirdo. They'll call you a phobic, right? So it's going to be the same thing with the M.O.T.B. Gradually, they're going to have you accepting this before it becomes a way of life. It's going to be normal. What's wrong with taking the C-hip, okay? It's just a new way of life. It's, you gotta keep up with society, okay? But they don't understand that this is going to be to their destruction, right? So this is one article, about 8 places, okay, that are no longer accepting, no longer accepting cash, okay? Now we're gonna get into another article, okay, that I found, and this one is, let me open it up. This one right here goes into 5th paralyzed patient, right? Implanted with Elon Musk backed Neuralink chip that allows brain to control smartphone. You see that? So this is the 5th, right, patient that they have implanted, all right? And these are, I believe, what they would call as test runs, okay, with that Neuralink chip, all right, that allows brain to control smartphone, all right? So let's read up on this a little bit, all right? And it says, a 5th paralyzed patient has been implanted with a Neuralink chip backed by Elon Musk. Military veteran RJ, also known as P5, suffered a spinal cord injury after a motorcycle accident that left him without the use of his arms or legs. Since his surgery in April, when a team of doctors at the University of Miami implanted a chip the size of a small coin into his brain, RJ has been able to control his smartphone and computer with his mind. Wow. See that? It says, I think my favorite thing has been being able to turn off my TV. RJ, the first patient to receive the chip at the Miami hospital, told NBC's South Florida station. Right? It says, Neuralink, the brain computer device company founded by Musk, partnered with the Miami project to cure paralysis on the procedure. And it has been a success, according to the doctor who led the surgery. Right? It says, in its early stages, it's been very successful at allowing them to accomplish goals they could not otherwise accomplish, Dr. Jonathan Jagged said. RJ was discharged from the hospital the day after the procedure. Okay, so you see, so these are them, performing them left-hand miracles. Okay, and that's part of the M.O.T.B. All right. That's part of the M.O.T.B. Okay, and that's part of Satan's work on the left-hand side. And a lot of people are going to be taking these devices, all right, in desperation, okay, because they're tapped into the flesh, not understanding that, that the Lord put them in that position, and if whether you're a Jake or not, right, now you're just going to have to wait for the Lord to release you from those conditions, right, through faith, okay, coming back to the Lord, all right, but, as the scripture says, right, the God of this world has blinded them, right, so these people are completely blind, all right, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Okay, because Jake is gonna fall for this, man. Jake is gonna fall for this, man. It says, right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. All right, and Jake is lost out here, man. All right, Jake follow any trend. Jake doing whatever Esau tell him to do, man. That's why Jake is all jacked up. All right, Jake dressing like women. All right, Jake is following any trend, doing anything that comes out on social media. All right, and that's all controlled by Satan, man. The devil himself, the so-called white man, Esau. Right? It says, in whom the power of this world, and who's the power of this world? Is Esau himself, okay? He was given this world by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua for that purpose, right? It said, in whom the God of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. You see, who is the image of Yahweh, all right? But you don't believe. So the image you're going to bow down to is going to be the image of the beast. Okay? You see? Because this gospel wasn't given to you. You're blinded. You're in gross darkness. All right? So all you could do is keep feeding the flesh, right? Hoping that, you'll be able to walk again. Hoping that you'll be able to see again. And you could do all those things, right? If the Lord allows you. But you got to be patient and have faith in the Lord, right? So, these people are in complete darkness, man. Let's read a little bit more. It says, for we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahushai, the Lord, and ourselves, your servants, for Yahushua's sake, for Yahweh, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts, okay, in our minds. You see, this is why we could tell you, that's the M.O.T.B. This is why we could tell you, hey, listen, Lord willing, we don't take that. Okay, we're going to try to avoid it, and only hope that the Lord gives us that spirit to not kneel down to it, right? It says to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh in the face of Yahushua HaMashiach, okay? So those that have this light, okay, already understand what's going on, all right? Remember, there's not going to be no enchantment against Jacob, all right? And that's the 1/3, okay, that believe in this gospel, all right? That believe in Hamashiach Yahushai, all right, that are not bowing down to Jesus Christ and the so-called white man and, listening to these other breakdowns, because there's even Israelites that know they're Israelites and they still want to, kick against the pricks and say that the M.O.T.B is not the RFID chip or a Neuralink chip, right? So even those that know they are Israelites are still, in gross darkness, right? So let's go real quick to the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3, right? And it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So you see, that falling away first was us, falling away from our power. Okay? And that man of sin is being revealed. That's Esau Edom, man, the so-called white man. All right? The son of perdition, right? The son of wrath, man. That's the house of the curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked. Okay? That's that vessel fitted for destruction, as we always say. Okay? It says, who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God. Right. Okay. And you see that he opposes, right? He made himself into the image of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay. It's called iconoclasm. All right. He whited out everything, white supremacy. All right. Or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So you look at the conditions that the Lord will put a man in, all right? Because the Lord is the one that brings judgment to all. Okay? We go back to the oldie but goodie, all right? Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. I kill, I make alive, I wound and I heal, and there's no other one that to deliver out of my hand, roughly paraphrasing. Okay? But here's Esau trying to change, right, what the Lord has done. Okay? He's saying, nah. You know what I mean? I'll deliver you out of this. I'll deliver you out of the hands of the Lord. Okay, but it's all you in a trick bag. Okay, because in reality, it's going to come back full circle to your destruction. Okay, and Esau as well. All right, for going against the Lord. But hey, what can you say? All right, when he's coming in the workers of Satan, as we're going to read on down. All right, it says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity does already work, right? Only he now letteth will let, okay? Because the Lord is letting them do this, okay? The Lord, remember, the Lord raised the bases of men, okay? Remember that the Lord also did it to Pharaoh for what? To bring his destruction, okay? So his name could be declared through the four corners of the earth. It's going to be no different, all right? After the Esau, all right, gets visited by the Lord, all right? So let's read that again on verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity does already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way, you see, until the Lord decides, all right, your time's up, all right? Your prophecy, all these prophecies are fulfilled. Now it's time to take you out the way, okay? You're inexpendable when you come to look at it, okay? The Lord raised you up for his purpose, all right? So at the end of the day, when your time's up, your time's up, all right? The Lord said he set boundaries that he cannot pass, all right? So Esau, in his own mind, as the scripture says, that he thinks that his house is going to live on forever, all right? It's going to get a rude awakening, all right? Verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, okay? And that's how we're revealing them, through these epistles, right? Out there in the highways and byways, the prophets, the true prophets, okay? Because you ain't hear about Esau, Edom, right? Being the so-called white man until Abba Bivens and all the elders, okay, that were with him, you know, Apostle Tahar on down, okay, came out, right? That was a mystery. People thought, you know, as they always would say, Christianity, those are the Bible days, okay? They couldn't put a face to these characters, all right? But he's being consumed, right, by the spirit of his mouth, which is the prophets, right? And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And that's Yahushua coming in that big chariot, okay? To make war with Esau, Edom, and these other nations that are going to be in alliance, right, with this devil, okay? Even him who's coming, here it is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. You see, because that's a lying wonder, all right? That chip, okay? That thing is just temporary, right? And that's temporary because all it is a mark to destroy you, okay? That's all he's doing is marking your destruction, man. I always say it. Misery needs company, okay? And he knows his destruction is coming, all right? And when you diagnose a psychopath, you know, with terminal illness, right? Because the physician is on his way to cut off a lung disease. He that is king today shall die tomorrow. When you diagnose a psychopath and you're like, you got 24 hours, you best believe he's going to cause as much havoc as he can, right? And take as many people as he can with him, okay? And that's what Esau's doing, man, all right? Performing these false miracles, okay? And it says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, right? Because where there is no vision, the people perish, man. They're in gross darkness, right? The God of this world has blinded them, right? 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, okay? Because they receive not the love of the truth. You see that? And we've been telling you about these things. And it's going to be too late when you wake up, right? It's going to be too late, right? You're going to hear a kaboom, a flash, and then the gnashing of teeth, okay? That they might be saved, okay? So this truth would have set you free, as the scripture says, all right? But you wanted to trust in the so-called white man, all right? But what the scriptures say, all right? Woe unto them that trust in the shadows of Egypt, okay? Right? You have looked on a nation that cannot save themselves, okay? And here you are running, right, under the target, okay? Here a missile's coming and you're running right under the target, all right? So verse 11, it says, and for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. See that? And that's a lie, man, okay? That you're going to be able to walk, you know, everything's going to be okay, you know? Yeah, we're going to feed you. We're going to give you $2,000 a month, All right, you're gonna be all set. Just take the C hip. Don't worry. Okay. You know, and what else did you believe in? You believed in Christianity, which didn't prepare you for these times. You believed in being a Muslim. You believed in being a Catholic. Okay. You believed in lies, man. You believed that the Lord was all love. Okay. You believed that salvation was for everyone. You believed that the laws were done away with. Okay. These are all lies. All right. That's strong delusion. Okay. Verse 12. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. Okay? See that? So you did not believe the truth. You had pleasure in unrighteousness, man. Okay? And remember, this is a place where they say evil is good and good is evil. Okay? And you have become just like them. All right? So the Lord is putting you in this position, right? That you are in a strong delusion. Okay? You've been deceived. All right? And ultimately, you know, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed with this place and with the workers of iniquity. All right? So let's get on Revelation, okay? 13 and 16, right to the point. And it says, and he causes all, both great, Salakia, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. You see? That RFID chip, that's going to be that digital currency that's going to go in your right hand, right? And what's going on with Neuralink? They're planting that shit in your brain, all right? And that no man might buy or sell. You see that? Here it is. Some people will tell you that it's Christianity, all right? But here it is. There's people that are atheists still buying and selling, all right? Or some people tell you it's the image of Cesar Borgia, okay? No, man. It says that you might not buy or sell, right? Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, man. Okay? So you got to understand that this is going to be a thing put in you, all right? A mark, a charagma. You're going to get impaled. That digital all that you could read, right? In the ancient times when you wanted to stay with your slave master. Okay? Reading on, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. You see? So you're going to bow down to this man. You're going to bow down to the so-called white man. You're going to worship him as your God. All right? You're going to turn your back, right? For all those that so-called have faith in the Lord, you so-called Christians, all right? Hey, even you Israelites out there that were yapping your mouth, all right, but not deeply rooted. Okay, you guys are gonna fold like church chairs, man. All right, like them cheap metal chairs, man. You're gonna fold, man, like a CD case, right? And that's why we gotta pray. We gotta stay humble, all right, and understand, right, what these things are, man. Okay, we can't deceive ourselves, telling ourselves no, it's sin, it's cargoes, and all these other crazy shit, man. You're leading the people to the slaughter, man. All right, it's gonna be a lot of blood in your hands, man. Especially Bishop Nathaniel, okay? He's slowly trying to wiggle his way back in, okay? As the elders say, he's going to wiggle his way back in and say that he always spoke on the mark, on the C hip, okay? But there's receipts. There's receipts with him going left with these breakdowns, okay? So let's get chapter 14. Let's go to Revelations chapter 14, right? And let's start at verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured without mixture in the cup of his indignation, man. Those missiles, man. Okay? And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay? See, in the presence of Yahweh Shai, man, and them angels, man. Because them angels is gonna come and get busy as well with Yahweh Shai, man. They're going, hey, that's gonna be the cleanup crew. Okay? And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. All right, and it's not gonna be forever. It's just gonna be a reminder of what happened here. Okay? Because it said the same thing about Sodom and Gomorrah. But that place ain't burning right now. But it's a reminder You're always going to remember Sodom and Gomorrah if you believe in the Bible. And they had no rest day nor night, who worshiped the beast and his image, and whosoever received the mark of his name. You see, so at the end of the day, hey, the devil's going to deceive you once again, right? The devil's going to deceive you for the last time, right? That destruction that's coming, all right? They're putting you in the middle of it, and you're going to believe in it, okay? Jake is desperate, man. You know, they're going to be able to heal you, maybe your diabetes and have you walk again and talk again. And, Jake going to be able to sit on their ass and get a couple $1,000 a month, with the RFID in their hand, okay? And Jake's become lazy, man. They love that. Just sit back and chill, a couple packs of cigarettes, go to some McDonald's, all right? Don't have to work, living it up. Get a few six packs in the weekend, or even all week if they don't have to work. Shit, low rent. This is how Esau's gonna trick you, man. All right, but that's the strong delusion that the Lord is gonna send because you did not believe in the truth. Okay, so Lord willing, this was edifying, and with that, I'm gonna give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters that are in this truth. Shalom. Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.